we're going to talk about Jeff Jarrett and his My World podcast, where he dedicates an entire episode to you. And as I said in the introduction, I listened to it.
As he should.
He was impossibly complimentary towards you throughout it. I don't know if you've listened to it.
I haven't listened to it, but I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, no, he was incredibly complimentary. Anyway, instead of writing a couple of pages worth of questions, I wrote 12. And that will see us through for quite a long time, I think, for episodes to come. So what we're going to do is things that they brought up in their podcast, I'm going to bring up to you, and you go more in depth with the story. But before we do, you wanted to mention something about, was it Max Caster doing a rap against Jeff Jarrett?
Oh, AEW, they're called the Acclaimed. They were coming down a ramp, and they always do a rap that the Max Caster has written. So, and sometimes the lines are pretty cute. So I'm listening to it, and they come down, and he said, "Jeff Jarrett, you're stealing money from AEW, just like you stole Kurt Angle's wife from him." As soon as I heard that, I went, "Oh no, he didn't say that. He didn't say. Tell me he didn't say that, because that's mixing wrestling and private life together." And I know Karen. I know what a firebrand she is. I know how. I've seen her go off and get mad and raise hell, and brother, she'll back up an 18-wheeler. And I said, I don't know how well this is going to get over, but apparently they're having a match. I guess it's on Wednesday night. They may have already heard it by the time may have already aired. But I'm thinking, I don't know. Sometimes when you put a guy in the ring who's mad at another guy, it turns from a work, it turns into a shoot. And then you don't know what you're going to get. So, and now when the people hear this, it's after the fact. So I'm going to watch it and see. But that goes back to what I was saying. People will believe till you give them a reason to disbelieve. And I believe at this point, truly, as a professional, that line shouldn't have been said. And I don't know if it was cleared anywhere, because I've seen guys do interviews in Memphis, and they would come back through the door and the guy would wait for him. So why'd you say that? Why'd you say this? Well, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen maybe you've had to pull a couple of guys apart or step between them because they'd get hot. Because, it's very easy for a work to turn into a shoot. And that's the last place you want it to turn into a shoot, is when they're on TV together and you got cameras rolling. So,
well, it's happened recently, hasn't it, with Andrade and Sammy Guevara and all that kind of thing. I remember quite a while ago that I think Max Caster said something, and 2022 people had a big old cry about it on Twitter, and then Tony Khan came out and apologized unreservedly, and then. And it was probably really, not that big of a deal, whatever he said. It was probably something about Bruce Jenner or something. And he had to submit all his raps after that to Tony Khan for approval beforehand.
Well, I missed a lot of that stuff. But I have seen sometimes guys just say stuff. Because Bret Hart and who was his strongest?
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn, they would, from what I hear, they used to shoot on live interviews to each other, and only if you were behind the scenes did you know what they were saying. Well, that's not good for anybody, really. Damn sure not good for the promoter who's depending on these guys till one of the worst things can happen in wrestling is a real fight break out because real fights are so boring and they last about 30 seconds and then it's over. And that's why it became a work in the first place, to make it more exciting, because it was boring from the outset. But anyway, the Jeff thing and the Acclaim thing, the Max Caster thing, I'm very interested in that because, and if anybody could pull this off, it's Jeff. He's a master, been around wrestling since he was a baby. See, I met Jeff when he was like 12 years old, 13 years old, and he was selling concessions at what we call spot shows or live event shows that, you know, like a town that we didn't go to very often. We would go there and that's where, and I never actually met him. I just saw him and he would be out in the crowd or selling Cokes or hot dogs or whatever. And he worked, his grandmother would, you know, be the promoter of the town and he would make money like that. So he's been around it forever. And he's not a very, very smart in booking. So we'll see where this angle goes. I'm interested in it.